I'm just running around checking my levels here, and this is my water level, but I want my pond to go out to there, so we're actually going to dig down a little bit. But I'm just working out a foot above this. This is going to be the water level. A foot above this, which I haven't marked, but it's going to be like here somewhere. That's going to be where our overflow starts. And maximum, I'd say it'll never really overflow that much above the overflow. So the maximum the water level will be as high as a stick. And so I'm just checking to make sure that we dam up high enough above that. I had my digger driver up here yesterday and we were talking about this ditch here. Normally when you're doing a dam, you would clear all this, you would actually dig a trench down, you would compact it in. But we've been looking at this ditch is solid. So the history of this farm is the English conquered Ireland, and they put basically a lord in place here, and this farm was the manor, and the old farmhouse was the landlord's house. There was no houses for miles around. Then in 1922 Ireland gained its independence, and they set up what was called the Land Commission, and they split up all the farms into smaller farms. And one of the neighbours actually remembers when he was a small kid, I think this might be like in the 30s, when they done what they called was ditching up. Basically they built up all these ditches in the 30s, and so this ditch has been here since the 30s, and it's been like this tree roots and everything in place, and it's solid. We think it's actually a good base to start with, so our plan is to actually use this as like our key, because it's going to be stronger I think than if we dig down a trench, start compacting. So we're going to use that as our key, our starting point, and then we're going to build up from there. I've measured in 6 foot from the end, and then I've just made this basically a massive Jubilee clip. I have some steel strapping and a bolt, and now that's solid on there. And I just got to seal all around here now with silicone, and do 2 more, and it's ready to go. That's the 3 of these guys all sealed with silicone and ready to go. We just got to be careful when we're putting in the clay around these, that we get the clay pounded in well around them and get a good seal. Where I'll go. First job is to move the compost pile. This compost has been sitting for 18 months, and that's the first time it actually got turned, so that'll do it a good job. If we leave it a couple of months now, turn like that, it'll be pretty good. I already used some of this on our fruit trees and stuff already, but that'll do it a good job. Probably one of the most time consuming parts. You've got to go in there and rip out all the old roots and stuff, and what I'll do is make a big pile of them and push it off over the ditch here and kind of get all the rough stuff off here, and then I come back in and try and shape it a bit better and start getting it clay. So you can see here there's very little topsoil in this. We're down to clay pretty much straight away, which is good for building a dam wall, but it's bad for the farm overall as a whole, because it means there wasn't that much topsoil here, but we're working hard to fix that. There's a lot of ground in here that was just overgrown, so turning it into a pond I think is going to be a really valuable asset to the farm. So I've just marked out about 2 foot past where I want the end of the pond to be. So we're going to clear all the soil off up to here, and once we get all this over topsoil out of here and we're down to clay, then we can start getting our levels and shaping out our pond. in Ireland, we're able to do this for a few reasons. One, this stream is actually just a farm drain. It's not registered in any waterways map. It was just a farm drain was put in, so you can alter that. And second, we're not changing the elevation of the ground by more than 3 foot, so we don't need any kind of planning permission to do this. If you're altering a registered waterway that's registered with Waterways of Ireland, you'll probably need to get some permission. And if you're altering the elevation of the ground by more than 3 feet, you'd need to get some sort of permission as well as per the regulations. That's my understanding of them anyway. So as far as I'm aware, I'm totally good to make these alterations. We're not really doing anything other than we're stopping the water in the farm for a bit longer than it normally would stay, and it's carrying on its same path and everything. I'm bloody super excited now. I've been waiting a long time. This is kind of one of the last big projects I want to do in the farm. It's kind of like the crowning glory, and I've been thinking about putting in this pond since I got here. So I'm super chuffed. The weather's absolutely perfect for it. I think we'll get this done in 2 days. We do it in 1 day in the summertime, but the days are so short. I've only got my digger driver during daylight hours, so we'll get her done in 2 days, I think. So Tommy just cleverly dammed up the water here for a little bit so he can clean all the stuff out of here. And once he gets that all clean, he'd pull away that copper dam. And this is all material that he wants to chuck that way, because it's all organic material which you don't really want to use in pond building. So we'll get that out of here, and we're going to store it on that side of the dam. So far so good. I've been just marking out where the water line will be now, and if we want to adjust it more. So if I step back here, you can see it's a little high there, so we'll take a little bit more off this, but we want a nice gentle slope, at least 6-8 foot in from the edge of the water. And then we're going to have to take some of this clay from in here then to build up our berm over there, and we'll take clay from that side to build up the berm over the dam over there. So our pond should look like this, and then drop down, and we have nice water storage in the center, and we've got nice wildlife habitat on the edge. There we've gotten the last of the topsoil pulled out. Shaping wise, I think we don't have that much to do. We just got to smooth off that edge there, and then dig out clay from there. And pretty much the same here. That's the water level there. It's a little bit high here, that's the level there, so we just got to a little bit off that, smooth it in maybe 6-8 foot into about there, and then we can dig away all that as clay. We've got this shaped up, and now we're taking some clay from, we've allowed about 8 foot in of a gentle slope, and then we're going to take that right down. Chase doesn't like the digger. I like telling the bucket what to do. And we're taking the material out from there, and we're going to use it to start to build up our berm along here. Jesse, come on, come on, come on, come on out here, come on. That'll do, good girl. Come here, come here, come here. And we're just going to build up the material, and then it'll pack all that in there real tight in layers. And it doesn't really need to do much because it's actually going up tight against the ditch, and then there's material on the other side of that as well, so it doesn't have to hold back anything, it's just got to be watertight really. So the material is just getting removed from here, starting to build up here, and the berm's going to be quite high. It's probably going to be like about this high where my finger's at, and well, maybe a bit lower. I think I need to be like here somewhere, so something like that there, all the way to finish there. So I think we're going to need a lot of material, so we may have to go down again. Problem is we've taken it down level of the stream. Once we start going down further, we've got to deal with the water, so we're going to see how far this goes and then make a plan from there. Put it in there loose, and then I'll pound it, and put in more loose stuff and pound it and build it up that way. And when we're finishing off, then we put a nice slick surface like this here on it with the bucket, which keeps it nice and waterproof as well. Okay, I had to shoot off there and mind the kids for a little bit, but we got this bit all built up and we're going around the tree down there. Now he's just getting this ready. We've got to put in the pipe and that. Probably going to do that tomorrow, because once we put in the pipe we've got to get everything done, and then we got to back up the water, so that's kind of the last thing we want to do. Yeah, I think we've got 5 hours on it today, and we've got it all shaped out, and we've got this berm built up to here. Right, tomorrow morning the first thing we're going to have to do is put in our pipes, which we're going to go through right there, and once we get them in we're going to excavate out all the clay here and basically finish off the berm, and then we'll take the digger, go out over the top of the berm, and then tidy everything out off the back there, and job will be a good one. Hopefully we'll have it done by tomorrow evening. We're pretty much going to be finished up here, so what he's doing now is he's basically cleaning all this for the last time and working his way down into the pond. Taking that big stump, I think I'm going to put that big stump in the pond. Maybe one day if I put fish in here, I want to create some habitat. Normally they would say it'll be sticking out of the water. Normally they say that's a bad idea because predator birds can land there and then affect the insects, but I've got trees everywhere they can land on anyway, so I'm just going to let all that balance out, and I think I'm going to put my stump maybe over there, and I think I'll come back maybe as well and put some bigger boulders and stuff in here. But for right now, the goal is to get the dam built, and the way I'm going to have the pipes, I can lower the water level if I need to do a bit of work and raise it back up again. First plan is we're going to put in these pipes here now. That dam is running in there. We're going to swing that in now, come closer to the ditch. We're just going around this tree, so we're going to use probably the little bucket. We're going to trench in. We've got 3 pipes all together to put through here, and we're going to try and maybe they're probably going to end here, and then once we get our dam up we'll bring the digger over the top and we'll deal with taking the water away then. At the minute the water goes that side of the tree. I'm probably going to divert it and take it out this side of the tree. Now our pond is starting to fill up. We've blocked up the original exit. We've got our pipes in place, and so we're just going to finish off the dam. Hopefully we can get it done the water can only come up as far as those pipes anyway, and then the pipes will take the water away, so we should be okay. And now we've got our 3 pipes in and they run through, and we're patting this down pretty hard with the digger, get it all nice and pumped. And then the black pipe is going to be for taking water away if I want to irrigate, and I'm going to put a small riser in that, just get into a nice clean volume of water. So we'll only go up maybe another foot from where it's at, and these ones then will go riser up to the top of the water level. We're getting a wee bit shyer on material, so rather than dig down too much, we're just taking a wee bit more off this bank here, and the bottom will be pretty level. This clay is really sticky, it's a nightmare. You can see it just sticks in the bucket, but we're getting there. There we go, got it out. Oh, Jessie bear. Jessie loves this stick. Good girl, good girl. Yeah, I'm thinking when we get this cleared out, putting my trunk in here so it'll be half submerged, half out of the water, and that'll look pretty cool, I think. As well, it's been very functional. But our pond's catching water anyway. We've got a mini pond, if nothing else. I'm not sure exactly how to calculate what this will hold, because I'm going to have different flows of water coming in. Typically, if you've got a set amount of water coming into a pond, you figure out how much water. That's noisy. Typically, if you've got like a 2-inch pipe bringing water into your pond, well, you figure out how many litres are coming in 1 minute, and you record how long it takes to fill the pond, and that'll tell you how many litres it holds. I've got a variable amount of water coming in, so I would really need to try and figure out what the volume of the pond is by measurement. I'm not really that fussed. And now we're pretty much finished the whole pond back into this corner. I'm just going to take this material out, which is going to be the dam where the digger's sitting, and he's just going to move it up to the side. And we pop a tree in, and he calls out and finishes the dam from the top. And then we've got to go out that side and look after the water coming out of the pipes. Okay, we got our tree in position, and now we're just going to build the dam back up here. What I would like to do is come back now, maybe get some nice big rocks and stuff. I just don't have them now, and fill in this whole section with nice big rocks, so there's loads of nooks and crannies for little critters, and maybe fish if we get them in here one day. Pond is filling up nicely, and just fill this off, get the rest of the height of our dam in, and then work on the backside. Okay, that was a feckin' nightmare. I'm fogged. Let me show you what happened. So yesterday evening, we're stuck in this absolute soup, and we threw a track. It was the upper track, and it was just an absolute nightmare of a place. We were jammed into that tree, we were jammed up against the fence, and she threw it off the sprocket and the idler. We spent like 2 hours last night working on it. It got dark, and it took us another probably hour this morning to get it set up again. Now the tracks are back on, and unfortunately it rained like hell last night, so now that's kind of messed up our plan. This is absolute soup, so we might end up just pushing this back up here to get it all sorted. But our pond's filling up nice. I actually had to let the level down. I've got to get some risers on these now, so it'll start to build up again, because we want to put in our overflow and take the water away. I just put that pipe in temporary last night, so I got to get the level set up and get our risers in. Tommy's going to probably take all this soup and just put it up against behind the dam wall here and just grade it off best he can. There's not much you can do with it right now. It's probably not going to look the prettiest, but maybe sometime next summer, if we have the machine in, we can make it look prettier. Yeah, we got our two water takeout valve in position. We're having a debate there. What we're actually going to do is we're not going to put an overflow pipe in it. The dam is lowest here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the earth settle, and then I'm just going to trench out. I want to let it settle, get some grass growing on it, so I'm going to have to wait till spring, and I'm going to put in basically just a trench for an overflow and get that seeded and let the grass hold it in position. That's my plan there. I think it's going to be the best thing to do. I'm not really worried about this overflowing. I've got 3 pipes. I can take the water out of it, and I can also hold the water level very low. I can, by bending, see the way the pipes are at an angle, I can just bend them down more if I was afraid that we're going to get a lot of rain, and just hold a low water level until I can get some grasses established on the dam. So this is the overflow setup. I'm going to make a little rock pool here, so the water, I'll actually dig out under those pipes a little bit more, or else extend the pipes out one or the other. I want to make a splash pool with rocks so it can dissipate the energy from the water, and then it runs over here into this pipe, and this is where the water was naturally flowing, runs off that way. So one of the jobs I have to do now is I thought maybe this might be the problem, but with a lot of things I do in the farm, when I don't know, I try to leave flexibility for a period of time until I know how things work. So I don't know what level I want the water at, and actually I want to keep the water lower than my end level. So I want to leave flexibility in these pipes. So I left it that I could bend the pipes to change the level of the water. But one thing, and I thought this might happen, is the pipe wants to go upright because there's air in the pipe, and obviously air in water wants to float. So I need to tie my pipes down. I've already tied this one down temporarily, but I need to do a better job. I should have done this when the water level was lower, but I didn't see it as a problem. So I'm just going to get the kayak and put it in here. This rope isn't secured tight enough on there, so I'm going to do a better job on that and do the same on that one there. I'm going to bend that pipe down another bit and hold the level where it is. So I've just made up, this is just a waste piece of pipe I have, and I've just made up a dummy collar. So my plan is to go out, put this over the overflow, and then ratchet on down. Then this gives me something I can tie onto, and I'll have a stake driven in the ground, and I'll tie a rope from this to the stake, and that'll hold the pipe at an angle, and so the water won't push it up again. And if I just put the rope around the pipe like I have now, the rope can slip on this, whereas when I clamp this on, it's going to be really tight. We're just after a lot of rain, and you can see pipes are well covered, but they're taking away the flow no problem. Then on the right side it looks like this here. I do need to get my stones in here, but it's been really busy with turkey deliveries before Christmas. It's probably going to have to be a job I do after Christmas, and get this rock pool all sorted out, the splash pool. But working really well, and this pipe's fit to handle everything. Really happy. Okay, so an hour spare this morning, so I just started doing a little bit of work. I love the sound of water splashing on the farm. It's just nice soft music all the time, so that's why I've just backed up this, so I made a little pool and the water splashes. If I didn't want it splashing, I would just put a 90 on there and drop it down just till it was just under the water level, and then it wouldn't splash at all. I need to go get more stones now and stone all this side, stone around here, and pretty much that's a good one. It can, once there's a heavy flow, it can just overflow there and take off, but that just backs up enough water so that we're not really eroding too much in here. The water's taking the bulk of it. and I will get some flat stones. Currently at the minute there's only mud on the bottom, but I'll get some like real flat stones and put them in there too, so that it stops churning up on the bottom. But whenever I have a spare hour here and there, I'll get this finished up. It's after a big rainstorm there. We have a nice flow going and it all seems to be working pretty well. It's just overflowing the rock the kind of way I intended. I've protected the mud on all the sides of the stone, so hopefully this will last a good while without me having to do much. And I was worried that the water would come flying out and be like hitting here, but I can see even with more force it's only going to come to about here. In worst case scenario, it's going to start off these rocks, so I'll probably build up more rocks around here, get that finished off, and be a good job.